Be underway. Andrew Jessup, he's on your left. Caleb Scherer on your right, number 14, number 6, respectively. On the SCG Tour Season 1 leaderboard, Grixis Death Shadow, Blue Red Gift Storm. Let's have some fun here, shall we? As we got our final standings here. Excuse me, our final pairings here from Nick Miller. Like I said, Greg Gentile. We got actually Mark Stanton with Grixis Death Shadow. He looks to be in along with Toss Evans and Ross Merriam. They got paired. So we're going to have some feature matches here. Hopefully we'll be able to jump to a couple of them as Jessup's already down to 17. Brendan DeCandio against Evan Whitehouse. They're playing for top 8, as are Emma Handy and Travis Speth. They are a backup match. Looks like Andrew Jessup falling down to 15. He's doing it right here to kick things off. I see a Desperate Ritual, a Past in Flames, a Baral, a Thought Scour, a couple of lands as well. So not a bad hand there for Caleb. And a Remand, I don't want to forget that. And we'll see exactly which card Andrew wants to take as he records all this information. Emma Handy versus Travis Speth is our backup match. You got Chris Castro-Rapal against Caden Kreppen. They're playing for top 8. We've got the Caleb versus Jessup match here, and then Michael Braverman against Quentin Glover potentially playing for top 8 too.
Andrew taking a good long look at this hand here. What he takes is heavily dependent on what's already in his own hand. I could see a variety of cards here. The rituals, you know, Caleb just needs the right density of rituals in order to go off with the Past in Flames. So by stripping him one of those is good. I can see taking the Thought Scour here, just denying him the cards in his graveyard. If you don't have a removal spell, I can see taking Baral.
If you're looking to resolve something.
And yeah, he's taking Remand, which I didn't even mention out of the whole group.
Let's go over to Caleb. The draw is a Grape Shot. Now, one thing that might be a little bit interesting about this matchup is because Jessup deals himself so much damage, a lethal Grape Shot might not be that hard for Caleb. It's not this thing where he needs to build up a storm count of 17. It might be a storm count of 6.
Yeah, 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Could get the job done.
Yeah, that could do it for Caleb. And I think given how experienced he is with playing storm strategies, I think he's probably aware of that.
But Andrew's also aware of this situation.
Andrew going right to Death's Shadow. Oh my goodness. These are 1/1s now.
This could be a massive bait.
Yeah. This could be very interesting here. So we say that because of the card Street Wraith.
Correct.
Which Andrew can cycle at instant speed, pay 2 life to do so, and he can turn those Death Shadows from 1/1s into 3/3s. Now Caleb drew a Grape Shot, which Andrew does not know about.
Correct.
And Caleb this turn, as he's going to play a Thought Scour on the instant, gifts Shivan Reef to the graveyard, card drawn, he'll untap the island, take a draw step here. He could just go Desperate Ritual, Grape Shot, boom.
Yeah. And it's hard to pass up that opportunity.
For killing 2 of those?
Yeah.
If you're unsure if you can do something, please raise your hand, call a judge, speak to them away from the table, and we can advise you on how not to be disqualified.
What's so interesting about a situation like this, if Caleb's playing against a random person, doesn't know who his opponent is, he probably pulls the trigger pretty easily.
Yes.
But he's playing against Andrew Jessup, who is one of the best players in the SCG Tour. These guys have been playing in tournaments together for the past couple of years.
Yep.
So this isn't just some sort of random play by Andrew. And that's why you see Caleb giving this a lot of thought, because it'd be very easy for him to just say, cast Baral, go.
Well, I think it'd be even easier to go Ritual Grape Shot.
Yeah.
But he's given this a good long think here.
He can also do it via Noxious Revival.
Sure, yeah, he doesn't have to use the ritual.
Yeah, which I kind of like. Gonna target, it looks like, gifts.
All right, yeah, I like this.
Because he's got some interest in gifts. And now here's Grape Shot, 1/1.
Oh!
They're both dead. Unreal. Andrew Jessup, he doesn't even flinch. Here's a Thought Scour. Serum Visions, Snapcaster Mage are going to go to the graveyard. There's a Bloodstain Mire. There's, oh well, he's got something else though.
Yep.
The real big fish.
And it looks like he's got a Stubborn Denial to back it up in his hand.
Okay. You lose a game where you lose 2 Death Shadows? Excuse me, you win a game where you lose 2 Death Shadows like that?
Yeah.
I'll be impressed.
If you would like to get in one last legacy event with us this
I will
weekend,
say
make sure
this,
you're
the
signed up
benefit,
by
for lack of a better term, of this
3:50
happening is, you know, Andrew's going to keep his life total pretty high this game now, I think.
Yes.
We're not going to see him aggressively try to shoot himself down. Looks like a flooded strand here for Caleb.
5-5 is so big.
It's very big. And Caleb's already 15, so that's a 3-turn clock. Jessup will draw. Coming on in.
Kapow!
2 hits to go, big fish. Caleb will sacrifice the fetch. No stifles here, buddy. You're good. No trick binds. Flooded strand is what Caleb will search up on the instep here, and we've got we're gonna go this way. Desperate Ritual into Gifts Ungiven. I think we might see Stubborn Denial. We do. That's countered. That's tough.
Yeah, that's a lot of cards to lose.
Caleb will draw. And he doesn't have much left here. Looks like he's got a Baral.
He's going
to play a Spire Bluff Canal. And perhaps he has a Past in Flames.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that last card in his hand is.
Giant team, Anderson and Hutton. Your next round is ready to begin.
Even playing the Brawl here would line up very well with what Jessup's trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's Baral. I think Jessup may have a Terminate in hand.
Yep, exactly.
This is why the matchup's tough, man. Quick clocks, great permission, and you get to see plenty of cards.
Yeah.
Just like you said. And in a matchup that you would typically think Fatal Push and Terminate are no good, you got to kill those cost reducers, so they're plenty good.
Yeah, they're all actually always good here.
Mm-hmm. 5 more. Caleb down to 4.
Now Jessup draws a card like Snapcaster Mage.
It's over.
Well, he just has his choice. He's got the counter spell. You can go after the hand with the Thoughtseize. He's got the Terminate. It just opens up everything.
All right, that was a Pyretic Ritual, and that's not going to do it. So Andrew Jessup is going to win game number 1 here over Caleb Scherer. Grixis Death Shadow up a game here over Blue Art Gift Storm, in which 2 Death Shadows died on turn 2
Impressive.
via Grape Shot, and he's still able to get the job done thanks to the real big fish and Gurmag Angler. Sideboards now, 3 Empty the Warrens, 3 Lightning Bolt, 2 Swan Song, 2 Pyroclasm, 2 pieces of the puzzle, Shattering Spree, an Echoing Truth, and a Dismember. Craig, how can Caleb turn this around?
Well, we've talked about these Empty the Warrens already. It's definitely another plan for him going into game 2. It doesn't require him to have a full graveyard or a full hand. He can empty early in the game and just try to ride some Goblin tokens to victory, especially if Jessup's dealing himself a bunch of damage. You don't need as many Goblins or as many attack steps to finish the game with the Goblins. So that's an option. The pieces of the puzzle potentially come in to counter all the discard that his opponent's hitting him with. And a card like Dismember is very good at taking down the fatties.
The other side of things now for Andrew Jessup, who's got 3 Collective Brutality, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Nihil Spellbound, 2 Liliana the Lasso, 2 Surgical Extraction, Anger of the Gods, another copy of Stubborn Denial. You saw how good the first one was. Dreadbore, Engineer Explosives, a lot of goodies.
A lot of goodies here, and I think Jessup needs to be a little bit careful about over-sideboarding. The Collective Brutality is great. Take out the Goblin Electromancer, peel an important card out of the opponent's hand, so I definitely want to see those come in. The Nihil Spellbomb seems very good. The Surgical Extraction seems very good. The extra Stubborn Denial seems good. The Engineer Explosives is definitely insurance against the Goblin plan. The only issue is, does he want all of these cards to come in?
A lot of options here for Andrew, and if he can get them all into his deck, he can really turn his deck into a storm-beating machine. So we'll see what he's capable of here, as he's currently up a game here playing for top 8. In the meantime, let's talk about one of my favorite products here with Star City Games. It's the Tarmodie! Not to be confused with the Tarmody, which is what you're still working on.
You'll be receiving a letter from my lawyer.
That sucks. Can we work this out somehow?
Yeah.
I know. That's not in court?
Right now?
Oh,
no.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about the Tarmodie now. No more talk about the Tarmody, Craig's hoodie collection. One thing you can do with the Tarmo die is, of course, keep track of your creature's power and toughness in style. Single dice and sets of 4 available now. More information, go to StarCityGames.com/Tarmo die. Again, single dice and sets of 4 available now. You can get them online. You can get them at an SCG Tour weekend, and you can get them at that Invitational in Roanoke, Virginia, a couple weeks from now. For Andrew J., we learned a little bit more about number 14. He finally got that win this year. 7 top 8s. His brother and everybody else on Team MGG were giving him a bunch of flack that he wasn't able to get a win just yet, but he's got that monkey off his back. 7 top 8s, 1 W for the 21-year-old from New York. And him and his brother, I'd say it's a friendly rivalry, but it feels like it's anything but that.
Yeah, I can't believe it's true. A bunch of gamers giving someone a hard time about their finishes.
Crazy, right?
No, I don't believe it.
Absolutely crazy. I know.
It's a fraternity, a brotherhood.
Andrew Jessup going to be headed to Pro Tour Hour of Devastation in about a little over a month from now as well. That'll be his Pro Tour debut. He's done so much work around the SCG Tour. He's young, but he's good, and he's starting to put up results everywhere, not only on this circuit, the Grand Prix circuit, Magic Online, and maybe very soon the Pro Tour circuit as well.
Yeah, one of the things that people ask me is, how can I get better at the game?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to go to the next level. I want to start being competitive on the competitive level. How do I do that? And my most common advice is find other people that want to take that next step that you think show promise and work with them a lot. And that's what metagame gurus have done here is they've come together, and I think all of the results are much better for it.
Yeah, I think them as a team, learning from each other, working with each other. Again, that's Jim Davis, Frank Scarin, who's a 2-time limited Grand Prix champion. Jim, a former Players champion. Danny Jessup, someone who's played in Players championships on the SCG Tour. Andrew, and who am I missing? What's Brad Carpenter? Who am I missing? Oh, that guy. Brad Carpenter. He's done pretty well for himself, too, on the SCG Tour. He's got individual victories. He played in the Players Championship last year as well. So,
yeah,
they're a good unit.
The people at home don't know that he's standing 10 feet from us.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know where he is. Andrew, going to take a look at 6 cards here. I got a bad memory, man. I can't forget Ben Friedman's on the team, too. He's been decent. He's been decent this year. Second place Baltimore. Yeah. Runner-up Grand Prix finish. Runner-up at the Invitational in Atlanta last year. Whatever.
And a solid run today.
Yeah. Just another great tournament for 40-card Friedman.
Limited specialist.
Yeah. That's it. Caleb's going to start with a Flooded Strand for Andrew Jessup. It's Scalding Tarn. Probably a Watery Grave. 17. I'm hoping for 15. Maybe even 13. There it is. There's 15.
We like that.
Couple of lands, maybe too many here for Caleb, along with a Gifts Ungiven, a Brawl, and a Noxious Revival. Jessup will take down the contents. He'll select a card here in just a moment. Gives probably the best of the bunch, but when there's Noxious Revival there, what are you even really getting done, I guess? One could argue.
Well, the Noxious Revival looks like a safety net for this hand where he'll rebuy the piece that you need, but he does lose a whole turn when he does that.
Very true. Very true.
Or at least a whole draw step.
Yep. But on the flip side, Gifts Ungiven oftentimes is the best card you can draw with this deck.
Yeah, it's definitely the A+ card.
Yeah, so you're probably okay with that a high percentage of the time. Steam Vents is the land that Caleb will search up with the Flooded Strand. Enters the battlefield tapped as he falls down to 19. And now he'll untap, take a second turn of the game. Let's see what he finds. Manamorphose, no slouch. The question is does he want to expose Baral right now? Looks like we're being given an answer. Yes, he does.
Well, it does set him up to potentially gifts next turn,
Mm-hmm.
which is what he's thinking, I'm sure.
Anger of the Gods here for Andrew Jessup in hand, so he has hedged his bets against Empty the Warrens.
Yep. Hard to blame him.
Yep.
Also takes out the other threats in the deck.
Very true. Stubborn Denial also in hand here, so this could really blow up the Gifts Ungiven plan here. Jessup will sacrifice a Bloodstained Mire. 14 at least, but how low will he go? How low will you go?
Just turn the gun on yourself.
There it is.
Kapow!
Yep, down to 12. Friendly fire.
Worth it.
Apparently. This is an Nile Spellbomb. Controlling the graveyard is something you certainly want to do, and now that's going to basically counteract the Noxious Revival that Caleb has in his hand. Serum Vision's the draw. Caleb will sacrifice a Scalding Tarn. He's going to fall down to at least 18. And he's going to stay at 18.
A little less interested in...
You know, just keeping it a little, keeping it a little safer around these parts.
I mean, it only seems fair. If Jessup's going to deal all this damage to himself, Caleb should kind of do some of that too.
Yeah. Give back.
Yeah.
Caleb will draw. Picked up another land here. Scry 2.
What's good for the goose is good for the Scherer.
I hate you for that. I do. Scry both cards to the bottom. Not interested in the land or a Pyretic Ritual. Bonk.
Clock started.
Yes, sir.
11 more turns. Game over.
Baral's going to bring Andrew down to 11. Andrew's going to play a Thought Scour. He'll target himself. Serum Visions. Stubborn now. Those go to the graveyard. Didn't get a great look at what he drew, but it may have been that real big fish again as he's going to untap.
Might have been a Death Shadow.
That'll also work.
Either way, it's definitely what he's looking for here. Get a threat onto the board. Turns on Stubborn Denial. He's got that Spell Bomb.
I think most black cards that he could draw right now, be it discard spells or threats, they're all good.
Yeah. Well, looks like he drew a Fatal Push off of his turn. Lots of options here. If I were Jessup, I think I'd want to get some pressure on the board.
Well, he looks like he wants to take Brawl off the board for now. It's always important when you're playing against the Storm deck to keep control of those cost-reducing creatures. But the problem we found, lack of lands for Andrew Jessup.
Yeah, he doesn't have the resources to do everything.
That means he has no shortage of spells, however. Caleb will play a Scalding Tarn and simply pass the turn back over to Andrew. Andrew will Thought Scour himself. Stubborn Denial, Polluted Delta, those go to the graveyard. Mystery card drawn, and now he'll take a draw step, of course. Another copy of Nile Spellbomb, and what he drew off the Thought Scour was actually another copy of Fatal Push. Death Shadow has arrived.
Now it's a party.
Mm-hmm. That's the clock you were talking about. It's only a 2-2 at the moment, but we all know it doesn't take much to make it larger than that, as Caleb will sacrifice that Scalding Tarn, get himself a Steam Vents, and enters the battlefield tapped, and we'll be heading to his 5th turn in just a moment. Again, the Noxious Revival has been pretty much blanked by that Nile Spellbomb. Part of the reason Caleb kept the hand was because Noxious Revival gave him protection against a discard spell. But that Spellbomb has blown that up. Now, he did draw a copy of Pyretic Ritual. And he is, he's playing a Metamorphose. Okay. Draw a card. Lightning Bolt.
Ooh. That's an interesting one.
Where are we going here, Caleb? You know, Lightning Bolt, Death Shadow.
Yeah, this changed his strategy here.
Mm-hmm. That's going to take care of the Death Shadow. Spire Bluff Canal. Pass the turn back. That's all for Caleb's 5th turn. Let's go to Andrew Jessup. He picked up another copy of Death Shadow, so this turn might look a lot like the last one here for Andrew J. The self-proclaimed better Jessup. But he might not want to turn off that mana either.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for him. He's really bottlenecked. I'd be reluctant to give Storm deck more turns than I need to. But he might be thinking, with what I have in my hand, I can't actually lose the game as long as I don't make a massive misstep in here.
Second Nile Spellbomb means that Caleb's graveyard is basically all done for. He'll draw a card, however. It's a Serum Visions. He'll start with Scalding Tarn.
This is a lot of mana for Caleb.
He's drawn too many lands, so take a look at the deck list. Don't have a great idea of how many lands he's playing. 18. There aren't many more left.
Yeah, so he's drawn basically all of them.
It's the Serum Visions. He'll draw Baral, Spire Bluff Canal, Sleight of Hand. I know where that land's going. We'll find out where the Sleight of Hand's going, but the land is it's going down yonder.
I think I'd be interested in this sleight of hand.
Yeah, there are worse draws. It's probably better than a random draw. Pyretic Ritual, Baral, Noxious Revival in hand. Let's pass it over to Jessup. Will Jessup break one of these Nile Spellbombs? Not yet.
I'm a little bit surprised.
I thought he might crack one.
Yeah, I thought he might cycle one for an extra card. He definitely wanted another mana source somewhere in there.
He's going to cycle a Street Wraith instead. Draw a card. He's found a land finally.
Yeah, and this is good on a couple levels. The Death Shadow is going to be out of Lightning Bolt range this time. And if he has a Stubborn Denial, it is also online.
Now, do remember that he has Thought Scoured away 2 Stubborn Denials, so Caleb might think, well, he might be out of those. The reality is, it appears as though Andrew has one in his hand. Lightning Bolt is going to go to Caleb's hand. The Polluted Delta is going to go away.
Oh, you didn't want that Delta?
Weird. Are we on a Lightning Bolt you out strategy? Because that's what I'm starting to feel like. Maybe Andrew gets a little too aggressive with old Death Shadow, and you can take advantage. That can be a hope. As he's going to get a Blood Crypt, and it's going to enter the battlefield tapped. He's not going to deal himself too much damage as Death Shadow clocks in as a 5/5 now.
And I like that play out of Jessup, not taking the extra damage. I think he's in such a strong position here that he only gets punked out by double Grape Shot or something like that, and leaving his life total higher makes it harder for that to happen.
We found an Electromancer here.
Not the most exciting card.
No. What's interesting about this is the plan, I can tell from Caleb now, do nothing. I think hope to draw a Grape Shot.
Yeah.
I think that's it. And hopefully this Death Shadow doesn't take out too many chunks of your life. But it does not take long, folks, for Death Shadow to get it done. As Caleb is down to 6. He'll draw Pyretic Ritual. Mana ain't the issue.
No, it is not.
You have 50 minutes. Please begin.
Electromancer has arrived. It looks like we're going to have Baral as well.
Yeah, man, no problem.
So there's those cost reducers. Push. Now Baral will resolve. Caleb will pass.
Yeah, I like the push in response to Baral.
Don't let him get out of control.
Well, don't let him get it. Even if Caleb has something like Remand in his hand, the Baral ability would trigger, letting him cycle through more of his deck.
Anger of the Gods here is going to take care of Baral. Going to leave Death Shadow on the battlefield, and that is going to do it. Andrew Jessup's going to win this match over Caleb Scherer. 2-0. Grixis Death Shadow, just too much to overcome here for the Storm player. And for Andrew Jessup, it looks like it's going to be another top 8 for him. Of course, his breakers weren't as good as some people above him, but he's 12-3. He's done his job, which is win his round.